Good morning. Have no idea what my hair is doing. Got up a little while ago. At least it's daylight out still. That's for a change for me. And hopefully we'll get to see some worm bins today. That's the plan at least. And maybe comb my hair. Remember when I said I thought that was pumpkin? That was sprouting? I think this is 2 days later. And it wasn't going to grow anymore because the cover was on it. So I got to keep the cover off of it and give it more water. And the cantaloupe has sprouted also. And we'll take a look at that here. And when I looked in the bottom, I saw that. That's what, a couple weeks or so. But it hasn't had any heat to it, only the heat in the grow box. So I'm thinking that's cantaloupe. That's what I put in here. You know, I took out the pumpkins and put the cantaloupe seeds in. So that is a baby cantaloupe. Well, starting. So that's interesting to see that. You know, things are still growing, progressing quicker than I thought this year. But, you know, I learned from last year, and as I said, you know, each year you learn something different, and, you know, you improve next year. Times or heat conditions, moisture conditions. I just wet this down so it has more moisture on it. So yeah, that's a look in the grow box. I just wanted to show you those two things for right now. And to give you a look, this is the food that's going to go into the flow-through in the living room. My mom gave me some asparagus tips the other day. She goes, "Oh, you can feed your worms." I went, "Okay." And these are banana peels and coffee grounds also. So that will be going into the living room flow-through underneath it. And just happened to see there's a group of worms right there. They're all happily eating. And quite a few worms up on the side of the container. And some receipts. Toilet paper roll. Trimmings from what my brother gave me. So I just threw that in the other day. Or last week or something. Some more roots from the tobacco probably, or tomatoes from last fall. Banana peel wrapped up in newspaper. I don't know why they're all crowding there. Must be something good to eat there for microbes. And that round piece of cardboard came from a pizza. I'm always throwing something in here. But I want to get it down to castings. Kinda, but I want to keep it going too. And as you can see right there, there's some isopods hanging out. So they help break down the material also in this bin. I haven't had any added to the bin, any isopods since last fall, last summer. So yeah, that's a quick look. I'll add this food in, and you know, you keep adding bedding and food, and the bin will do well. I don't see any moisture issues. on this right now. So don't want to take too long on this one. We've got other bins to look at also. So hopefully you enjoyed looking in the flow through. It's a 55-gallon flow through. I showed you a few times already. And this sits right in the living room, right next to the front door, almost. So as you walk in, you see this, and you don't smell it. No smell to it. Okay, this is the flow through that's in my bedroom. Well, in the closet, kind of. And as you can see, there's quite a few worms in here. Up on top. It's doing pretty well. I might leave it like this because all of that newspaper there is the banana peels. And what happens during the winter is it's not hot enough for those peels to break down quick enough. I mean, they'll break down, but in the summertime they'll break down even twice as fast. So I've got a little bit more of some lettuce and trimmings and stuff, which I'll throw in here today. But this is doing pretty well. I mean, I just filled it up with cardboard. Dry cardboard that's all compressed now. And it's almost down, you know, to where it was before for height. So it's compressed quite a bit. And it's still dumping out the bottom a little bit, you know, not as much as it was, but I'm looking around as I'm talking to you guys just to get a feel of the bin and see what it's doing. But yeah, that's an avocado peel right there. That's another one right there. I'm not too sure. There's a hole already in it, so eventually it's going to break down. It's just going to take longer. I just wanted to throw them in there to see what happens. So that's what I'll do, is just throw in the trimmings of the lettuce and stuff, and let this work its way down, let them decompose it some more, and it's looking good. This here is the potting soil bin, which I like to call it because it's just potting soil, and it's breaking down somewhat. I mean, probably underneath, because I gave it coffee grounds last time. I'm not too sure what that is, but as we dig, look at how nice and rich that's becoming. It does need, and then you got nice clumps of worms in there. It is a little dry, which I expected, because I haven't done anything with it last time I fed it. Over a month ago, a couple months ago. So if I mix it around and give it some more food, I want this to break down. And I've been thinking about using this on the rose bush this spring and the trumpet vine out back, which we haven't seen yet, or we might have. And the 2 trumpet vines I'm trying to grow in the front yard, well, along the driveway. So I think I'm going to feed this. Thought I saw a cocoon right there. It shows up shiny. There is probably quite a few cocoons in this. I mean, it's and right there is the my old hair. It's breaking down. You know, it's going to take a long time, but it's more than what it was. So yeah, it doesn't look bad. It needs more maintenance than I thought it did. You know, it's kind of dry, but that's fine. I can wet it down and get it going. They're still healthy. The worms that are in here, they're nice and plump from what I'm seeing. So I'll feed this and we'll go to the next bin. And this is the stackable bin that is on the living room. And as you can see right there, there's some worms there. Banana peels that I've put in here. And seeing it's colder out here in the living room, normal temperature out here is probably around 56 degrees. That's where the heater's set at. And those banana peels aren't going to break down as quick. It does need some water. That is nice and moist. So it's a little dry, but there's still moisture in some places. So not really much to see. As in production, there's some worms, you know, right there. Moving around. And he's diving back down because of the light. So, as I said, the banana peels aren't going to break down as quick. But they are eventually going to break down when summer hits. So, all this is going to be food. I might turn this so the worms can get on top of this too. Put some more of the bedding underneath on top of it. And right now they're just working the underneath of the banana peels. So I should have put a layer of wet stuff, wet cardboard on top of this, but I didn't. So that's what I'll do, and we'll go check out the worm in next. And the worm in that's hiding back here is doing pretty well. I put some trimmings in, I think last week. And there's some banana peels and coffee grounds in there. It does need some water, which I kind of knew. The worms were in a bunch the other day around up in here until I put the banana peels in. And it's doing alright. It dries out quicker because it's all in the open. But that gives it more air to decompose and break down. So yeah, a quick view of that. Can't really see any worms, but yeah, it just needs some water. And this is the purple bin that is at the foot of my bed. As you've seen before, I usually leave a cover on this, and that's why all the worms are gathering at the edge of it, because of the probably the little bit of air and the moisture that's building up there. It's not sealed tight, it's just a loose cover, but the worms will just go there. They won't go any farther. I just pushed one over the edge, but just to get them back in the bin, but they'll stay right there. Yeah. I'll push these back in, but yeah, that's as far as they go. And down here is, you know, nice castings it's making. There's still lots of bedding and stuff. I don't really need to feed these right yet, because that right there is a banana peel, and those are banana peels, but they've, if you keep it nice and moist, you know, they'll do their job and give you lots of castings. So yeah, it looks nice. I don't think I'm going to even feed it this time. I'll probably wait another couple weeks or something and come back here and give them some more banana peels, because this bin and the phone book bin does really well because the heater is right next to it, my electric heater that I heat the room with. So this is getting a lot of warmth from that, and it's breaking down the banana peels a lot quicker in these. So that's why I love to use the banana peels in this, because it gives them food and it breaks down, you know, a lot faster than the other bins that I have. So the last bin is the phone book bin we'll look at. And peeling back the moist newspaper, not newspaper, phone books. What am I thinking? I'm always thinking newspaper in this thing, but it's phone books. That's all moist that was on top. And remember when I layered it? That's all castings with worms in it. So that's the first layer. It's settled down some, and I haven't fed this yet. It's been over a month, and I'll probably feed them in the next couple days, it seems. They got plenty to eat with their castings that were already in the bin, plus the phone books. But that's all moist. I keep a lid on this. It sits on top where the other bin sits on top of that. So it's not airtight, but it keeps, you know, some of the moisture in. And I'll push this all back over there, and I'll make up a batch of banana peels and coffee grounds, and start feeding this. I like to get them settled first, so it's not a shock to them. And yeah, it's looking fine. And the phone books are going to take time to decompose. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, and this is just a month, and you know, you're not seeing really anything yet of them. And that's the nearest one to the castings, and it's going to take months, 6 months or more for it to even start, because they're all happy in the castings right now. They haven't ventured out much, which I knew that, but I wanted to be as shock-free as I can with these worms, or any worms. But that's how I am. I just want to give them a relaxing environment, so it's not oh, what type of bedding am I in this time, and so they're used to, you know, the castings that they've been in, and they'll slowly venture out and look around. They probably would have by now if it was, you know, if there was food around, but that's how I like to do this bin, is to slowly incorporate it. And yeah, so that's a look at the phone book bin, and you know, that's how it's progressing. So hopefully you enjoyed today's look around the bins. It's always interesting to see what happens with them. Their progression of being from food, or not food, but a compost waste, which is food to them, being broke down into castings, and the outcome of castings. There's more bins, but those are still being worked on. I've got additional 7 bins in the living room. Remember, I bought the bins earlier this year. I've got 7 of them up, running, and I've got 1 more to go. Those will be 8. So each bin is about 2 pounds of worms. So there's be 16 pounds in just that bin. Who knows what the flow-throughs have for worms? Probably maybe 8 to 10 pounds in those. I don't know. It's I don't know how to really judge how many worms, because the worms are, you know, eating through each layer, plus they're dropping out on the bottom and living on the bottom, at least in my room. In the living room, they haven't dropped yet. This bin in my room took 8 months for it to start dropping, and I put a thicker layer of cardboard into the living room flow through, and it'll take even longer for the worms to break down that layer and the castings to drop out. So probably over a year it will take for the castings to start dropping. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this tour of the worm bins, and I will see you tomorrow.